Hello, PreCalculus. Sorry about the late start on these videos. We are now covering transformations. We talked a lot about them last year in Algebra 2. So this should be a nice, happy little review for you. You're going to need to do two things. One, if you are given an equation of a parent function with transformations, you need to be able to list out the transformations and be able to graph it. And then you also need to, if you're given a graph of a transformed parent function, be able to tell me, again, what are the transformations and be able to write the equation. All right, so just as a review, we've got vertical transformations and horizontal transformations. Remember, your vertical transformations happen outside of whatever your function is, and we do exactly what it says. And when you see it here, it's going to be your f of x. So like if this was x squared was my function, it'd be x squared plus some number, some constant. Remember, if k is positive, we shift up. When your k is negative, we shift down. If it's happening inside my function, so instead of it being, this would be, let's just do f of x is equal to x squared plus 4. That's shifting up 4. Minus 4, that's shifting down 4. Whereas for your horizontal translations, it's going to happen inside my function. So if my function is x squared, it's going to become something like this. So it's inside the parentheses. We say a lot because when we're talking about x squared, x cubed, that's inside the parentheses. It could be inside your absolute value. It could be underneath the radical sign. It could be in the fraction. It could be up in the exponent, depending on what kind of parent function you're talking about. Remember, also with horizontal transformations, we do the opposite of what they say. So I always call my horizontal ones my teenagers that do the opposite of what you ask them to do. So this says go to the left 3, but instead it's going to be shifted to the right 3. If it was a positive 3, instead of going to the right 3, we would go to the left 3. So let's look at it. We're going to first talk about the absolute value. So first, what's the graph of absolute value? Remember, your slope is positive 1 going this way. And sorry, I should be drawing the other way. Negative 1 coming into it, right? There you go. So that's the regular absolute value graph with some arrows, of course. What are we doing? What is my transformation here? It's outside of the absolute value, so it's going to be a vertical transformation. So this is a vertical shift. It's positive 4, it does exactly what it says, it's going to go up 4. So I'm going to take this flat graph, I'm going to shift it up 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the center of it. And this would be my new shifted, translated or shifted, you'll see it said both ways, graph. So red graph is this graph. The black graph is just my regular absolute value graph. I don't care if you put both graphs on the same one. In fact, I kind of prefer it if you don't. But if you need to put that parent function in there to remind yourself this is what it should look like, and then make your transformations from that, by all means, go for it. All right, for B, we're going to take this flat graph. Now my transformation is happening inside the absolute value, inside the function. So I'm going to do the opposite. It's going to be a horizontal shift. It says to go to the right 3, but it's ornery, so it's going to go to the left 3. So horizontal shift, left 3, which means instead of being centered here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left. There's the center of my V. And there is my transformed absolute value. C is awesome. C has got 2 transformations. We generally always start with our horizontals and then mess with our verticals. So for our horizontal, it says go to the left 2, but we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have a horizontal shift to the right 2. You guys are in PreCalculus. I'm at the point now where you can totally say HS. I know in PreCalculus, you know HS means horizontal shift. Algebra 2, you had to prove to me you knew those vocabulary. PreCalculus, I know that you know it, or you're going to have a hard time on a multiple choice test. All right, what does it mean for this negative 1 to be on the outside? Now it's going to be a vertical shift because we're on the outside. It's a negative 1. It does exactly what it says. We're going to vertically shift this guy down 2. Remember, horizontal shift is left or right. Vertical shift is up or down. So I am going to take my V, that's normally centered here at 0, 0. I'm going to go to the right 2 and down, oh, not 2, Miss Harris. We're going down how many? 1. So to the right 2, down 1. Here's the new center of my V, and I'm going to go up 1 over 1, both directions. And there's my transformed absolute value. All right, go ahead and pause your video. See if you can figure out the U try. What kind of function is that one? You should all be screaming, it's a cubic function. Just as a reminder, a cubic function, -1 cubed will be -1. Let me put it in black since it's a parent function. 0 cubed is 0, 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's already off the chart, so we're just going to do this. There's our cubic function. That's what you're going to be transforming. So go ahead, pause the video, come back when you think you've got the answer. All right, coming back. For A, we've got a -5 outside of the function, so this is a vertical shift. It'll do exactly what it says. It says -5, so we're going to go down 5. So the center of this graph is going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've got my guide points here and here. So it's going to look something like that. For B, we are inside the function, so it's going to be a horizontal shift. It's going to do the opposite of what it says. Instead of going to the left 3, we're going to go to the right 3. So we go 1, 2, 3. That's where the center is going to be at. Again, there's my guiding points. And make the S as best as we can going through there. And C, once again, we have 2 different transformations. Start with your horizontal. So start inside the function there. It says +2. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to go to the left 2. And then outside, I've got a vertical shift. Exactly what it says. We're going to go up 4. So my center point that was here is going to go to the left 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my guiding points. And there we go. All right, that's it for video 1. In our next video, we're going to tackle reflections.